Last time we looked at the sine, cosine and tangent of 30 degrees, which was down here. We're going to have to make a few changes now, because we are dealing with the 60 degrees. So let's erase these things that we had here. Let's erase some of these things off the board. Now, the thing is, we are looking at the 60 degrees, and the 60 degree angle is up here. Now here you can see that the 60 degree angle is at the top of our triangle, but this side is at the bottom of our triangle. So this now becomes the opposite, because top and bottom are opposite sides. This now becomes the opposite to the 60 degrees. Alright, so let's make changes. This side is opposite to the 60 degree angle. And remember, we measured it to be 15.6. Now, this side is running alongside the 60 degree angle. So it changes from opposite to adjacent now. So this is adjacent, the adjacent side to the 30 degree angle. The adjacent side. And then of course this remains the hypotenuse. Always be the hypotenuse to D. And I should change this 30 to 60. Everything in place now. Okay, nice. Now let us calculate the sine. Instead of writing out sine, sin, sine of 60 degrees. Now from before, we're going to make a note over here that in all cases the sine of the angle, let's call the angle A, general angle, the sine of angle A is the length of the opposite side divided by the length of the hypotenuse of a triangle. The cosine of the angle A is the length of the adjacent side divided by the length of the hypotenuse. And the tangent of the angle A is the length of the opposite side divided by the length of the adjacent side. So sine equal opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now what is the sine of 60? The length, let's see this, the length of the side that is opposite to 60 is 15.6. 15.6 divided by hypotenuse 17.6. 15.6 over 17.6. What's that equal to? 15.6 divided by 17.6 equal 0.886. Alright, 0.886. So we write that down here. 0.886. Now, this is from measurement, This is from measurement. Remember now, the calculator gives you the perfectly accurate value. It gives you the accurate value. This is just from measurement, so it's an approximation. It was 0.866, something like that. When I checked on the calculator, we could check it. Sine 60 with the calculator. It's clear. Sine 60 equals 0.866. Alright. So that's 0.866, the accurate value. But anyway, that's kind of close. Let's find what is called the cosine of 60. Cos of 60. Cosine is the length of the adjacent divided by the length of the hypotenuse. So the cosine of 60 is the adjacent, which measures 8.2, divided by the hypotenuse 17.6. What was that again? 8.2 over 17.6. Let's just use this calculator. 8.2 over 17.6 equals 0.466, 0.466. All right, 0.466, and then the tangent of the 60 degrees is the length of the side that is opposite to it, divided by the length of the hypotenuse. So remember, we're dealing with 60. So A is a general angle. It can be anything, but in this case, our A is 60. So instead of saying tan A, we're saying tan 60. Tan 60 is the side opposite to it, 15.6 it measures, divided by the adjacent, which is 8.2. 15.6 over 8.2. So 15.6 divided by 8.2 equals 1.9. 1.9. Right, 1.9. What would be the accurate value if you say tan 60 on the calculator? Let's try that. Tan 60 equal 1.73, 1.9. Not really too far off. Alright? But as I said in the previous video, you could try this if you use a big paper, like a cartridge paper, but even your book leaf, and you carefully you use a fine point pen or sharp pencil, you carefully measure, you probably would get more accurate measurements than I'm getting, and you get something closer. You're not going to get exactly what the calculator will give you, right? But you'll get something kind of close to what the calculator will give you. All right. So these are from measurement, the sine, cosine, and tangent of 60. But you know that from calculation, it's much more accurate value than this. All right. Now, here, let me put back the 30 degrees. Now, you notice that this side is adjacent to the 60 degrees. But guess what? But opposite to the 30 degree angle. So while this is adjacent to the 60, it is opposite to 30. So opposite and adjacent, it doesn't really mean that one side is always an opposite and the other side is always an adjacent. It just depends on where the angle is that you're looking at. While this is opposite to the 60 degree, right? This is opposite to the 60 degrees, but it is adjacent to the 30 degree angle, right? So this side, it can be opposite or adjacent depending on which angle you're looking at. But of course, this side is always the hypotenuse. It is opposite to the 90 degrees. All right. So these are your trigonometric ratios. Sometimes it's called the trig ratios for short. So you can use these for calculations, but remember, these trig ratios are valid only with right angled triangle. If it is not a right angled triangle, it cannot work. You have to use something else like the sine rule and the cosine rule. But the trig ratios are for the right angled triangle. I will see you in the next video.